What started like a joyful journey, a bus full of friends, laughter, and excitement, all heading to a village wedding. But what we didn't know was the celebration would end in horror no one was prepared for. Have you ever gone for something normal, something happy, and it turned into a nightmare? That's what happened to us. It was supposed to be our course mate's traditional marriage in her village. There were 14 of us in numbers, 8 girls and 6 guys. We had planned it weeks ahead, contributed money, and booked a bus. We even selected matching outfits just to cruise. We were so excited to see the village life. But if we knew what was waiting for us, I swear, we would never have gotten on that bus. That morning, everyone was in high spirits. We dressed well, carried snacks, power banks, even Bluetooth speakers. The guys were playing music loudly while the driver packed our bags inside the boot. We were all laughing, snapping pictures, and teasing each other. It felt like one big adventure. Then, finally, the bus moved. The journey started with gist and fun. Everything was normal until we crossed one bridge and entered the narrow red sand road. That road, it was covered with tall grasses on both sides. No houses, just bush and trees. Something felt off immediately. Then, the bus just slowed down and started jerking. Before we knew it, it stopped completely. Then the driver asked us to come down while he checked the engine. The guys later joined him to fix the bus. We girls went to sit under a tree by the roadside. We were laughing and making jokes with each other without knowing what was coming for us. Then the driver came to us and said, "The engine has knocked." Immediately, there was a pulse among us before the word came out from one of us. "A driver, just like that." She said it with a cold voice. "What do you want us to do now?" The driver kept mute, and then we all started shouting at him. "Why didn't you check this bus before the journey?" He just replied to us with, "Let me go look for help," and walked off. No explanation. No direction. He just entered the bush and disappeared, leaving us in the middle of nowhere. We were still there, confused and trying to understand the whole situation, when we heard footsteps running towards us. At first we thought it was the driver coming back to us with help. Not until we saw 3 people, 2 guys and 1 lady burst out of the road, panting like they were chased. Their clothes were dirty, their eyes wide open. They didn't even greet us. One of them shouted, "Run! Run! They've taken over the road." They seized our bus. Only 3 of us escaped. We were still trying to process it when we heard faint footsteps again getting closer. Nobody waited. Panic hit. We ran. We scattered into the bush. I ended up with 3 other girls. We just kept running until we couldn't see anyone else. Night was coming fast. Then the weather started changing, and before we knew it, it started raining with heavy thunderstorms and strong wind. We were drenched, cold, and shivering. Our feet were muddy. Our arms were scratched. We found a big tree and hid under it. The wind was howling. The trees were wheezing. The bush looked like it had eyes watching us. Then we started hearing strange voices from deep inside the forest, not talking, but chanting. That's when I knew we weren't alone. Then out of nowhere, 3 strange-looking men jumped in front of us. Bare chest with red skirt and white chalk on their eyes and chest. We screamed and tried to run, but they caught us. As they pushed us through the bush, we saw others, our course mates, even the 3 who told us to run. They were smiling, walking freely with the men. My head almost exploded. We'd been set up. Those people lured us. It was all planned. Then the journey began. They took us deep inside the forest. We walked for a long time with no food or water. Our throats were dry, our legs were weak, but they didn't care. They screamed at us to keep moving, like we were animals, like our pain didn't matter. Their eyes were cold. Whatever waited ahead, it was worse than the fear behind. And then we got to one place that looked like an abandoned hut. There were heads, human heads, and blood everywhere. Body parts, arms, legs, some even still fresh. There were people tied down. Some crying, some shaking. Children, old people, no one was safe. The air was thick with blood and fire smoke. I felt my soul leave my body. That night, they beat drums. They danced. They chanted. and they watched us like we were animals, like meat. Morning came. One man stepped out. He was tall. His skin looked like it had burned and healed badly, thick, patchy, and stretched tight over his bones. He wore a necklace made of fingers, human fingers. Some still had rings on them. He didn't speak, he just raised his hand and started pointing. One by one, he pointed at a girl named Lizzie. She was seated close to me in the bus, laughing hours ago. She barely had time to scream before two men dragged her by the arms. She fought, kicked, and cried. They didn't care. They slit her throat right there, and blood spilled into a wooden bowl carved with symbols. The killing continued. Anyone he pointed at was dragged forward and butchered. No mercy. People started screaming. Some tried to run, bad idea. The moment one of the boys ran, a trap snapped out of the ground, a spike straight through his leg. He didn't die right away. They left him there, twitching, bleeding, while the tall man kept pointing. We were like cattle to them, offerings and sacrifices. The screaming, I can't unhear it. By noon, the ground was full of blood. Half the people were gone. I was praying in my heart, crying silently, just waiting to die. Evening came. 4 of them left the camp, dragging what was left of the bodies to somewhere in the forest. The ones who stayed behind, they drank something thick and dark from wooden cups. It smelled like rust and smoke. Then they danced around the fire, laughing like demons wearing skin. Then one by one they passed out. Some slumped forward, while others fell back with wide eyes, grinning in their sleep like they were dreaming of death. That's when someone beside me started loosening their rope. It was weak. We helped each other. We didn't even talk, we just started running again. Through the bush in the dark. No direction. Only the will to survive with barefoot, silent, and heart-pounding. Through thorns, through mud, through branches that clawed at our faces. The girl running with me suddenly screamed. She fell into a shallow ditch and didn't get up. I tried to pull her out, but her eyes were wide and fixed on something behind us. I didn't turn around. I ran as fast as my leg could carry. Not everyone escaped. Some people fell. Some screamed. Some went the wrong way. But me and 4 of my course mates and 3 others ran out in the same direction, like fear has linked our feet together. We just kept running. We didn't stop. We crashed through bushes, faces scratched, clothes torn, our hearts pounding like war drums. One of the guys was bleeding from his side. He didn't even notice. He just kept saying, "Don't stop. Don't stop." And then suddenly, the forest broke. We ran out onto a red, dusty village road, our legs barely holding us anymore. For a second, the world was still, just the sound of our breath and the night wind. Then we saw it, a rusty old truck coming down the road slowly, carrying goats tied with ropes. The driver slowed down when he saw us. Maybe it was the way we looked, dirty, scared, barefoot, and bloodied. At first, he hesitated, but something in his eyes changed when one of us screamed, "Please, help us. They're coming." He didn't ask questions. He jumped down, opened the back, and started pulling us in with his own hands, goats bleeding wildly as we squeezed ourselves between them. He didn't even wait for the last boy to close the door fully. He jumped back in, slammed the gear, and started driving like his life depended on it. Maybe it did. None of us said a word. We just lay there in silence, some crying quietly, others staring blankly at the moving sky through the gaps in the wood. But deep inside us, we knew we weren't safe yet. We didn't stop till we got to the nearby town. The truck driver dropped us at the local police station, confused and scared himself. We tried to explain the ritual camp, the killings, the forest, the butchered bodies, the man who pointed. For a moment, they stared in silence. But then, they believed, and the truck driver backed our story. They called the school authorities immediately, and within hours our parents were contacted. Some parents cried over the phone, thankful their children were alive. Others were weeping, because theirs were never coming back. The school sent buses and counselors to carry us home. The school held an emergency meeting, shut down activities, and quietly launched an investigation. They tried to cover it up. Said it was a tragic incident during a traditional event. But we knew what really happened in that forest. Out of the 14 of us that entered that bus that morning, only 4 made it back home. Our bodies survived, but our minds didn't come back the same. That night left a wound no one can see, a silence in us, a fear that lingers, the kind of trauma that doesn't fade. It just waits quietly in the dark like it's not finished. We still don't talk about it, not because we've forgotten, but because remembering hurts too much. Be careful where you go. Not every invitation is meant to be accepted. And sometimes the worst kind of evil doesn't chase you. It waits for you to come to it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.